Today I wanted to talk a little bit about ladder anxiety. Okay, this is something that you see pop up in forums and threads, and something that I actually get asked about a lot. Like, how do you cope with ladder anxiety? The being anxious about queuing up for some StarCraft ladder. StarCraft is definitely a very difficult game, so I guess it's understandable. Um, but yeah, let me kind of put my thoughts out there for it. So, first off, I once heard this like quote that really stuck with me about anxiety that I think really kind of does a good job of summing up um why people have ladder anxiety. And here, let me just pop it up here. The quote was something to the effect of, anxiety is the fear of a future change in status. And this kind of really struck me when I read this many years ago. I was like, oh God, yeah, I guess whenever I'm anxious about something, I can kind of link it into that, where it's like, oh God, I'm kind of anxious about this because people are gonna like look at me weird, or like I'm gonna fail in this way or something. And it's kind of like a change in status, right? So think about why you might be anxious to play some StarCraft ladder. Well, in StarCraft, it's really hard to blame anything but yourself if you lose. Well, not that hard, right? But you know what I mean. It's a one versus one game. You don't have teammates. You don't have tons of RNG like you might see in some card games and stuff like that. So if you lose, a lot of times you feel like you failed. I know that that's definitely something for me, but I think it's important for people to decouple their self-image from their StarCraft play. The fear of status change that you might be feeling before you hit Q game on the ladder is like, maybe you're at a peak on your ladder account. Maybe you're higher than you have been. You're finally in Diamond League in StarCraft 2, and if you lose a couple games, you're not going to be anymore, and you're not going to feel good about yourself with that. Well, here, I have some myths to break. Okay, first off, um, you're you are not really your ladder rank. You're not really your StarCraft skill unless you're a pro gamer. Okay, and if you're a pro gamer, it's your job, and you just have to queue on the ladder. But it does not, like, if you don't play StarCraft well, it doesn't mean anything about like your intelligence or anything. A lot of times, and I think this happens because like StarCraft is such a hard game and such a deep strategy game. People think that like, oh, I mean, smart people are good at StarCraft. That isn't like the thing. There's so many people that are really smart that suck at StarCraft. And believe me, I've met dummy pro gamers, okay? So it doesn't really have anything to do with intelligence. It has a lot more to do with grinding it out and working hard, or maybe just being kind of talented at it. So don't really worry about that. You don't need to have a poor like self-image of yourself and how intelligent you are or how good you are at games because you're losing games in StarCraft. It's really not part of that. Um, Also, just because someone beats you in a game of StarCraft, it's like, it's not. I don't think it's really that big a deal. It doesn't mean that they're smarter than you or even necessarily better than you. I mean, it's one game, whatever. Maybe they are better than you, but does it matter? Um, yeah, don't worry about these type of things when you queue up. It's completely fine. And honestly, StarCraft is a great way to kind of humble yourself in a lot of ways. I hear that quite a bit about things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? Like, this is a great thing to go do and kind of humble yourself, because you're just going to be destroyed by people smaller than you, people bigger than you, just people that have put in the time and the effort to kind of learn it, right? And that's kind of the same thing with StarCraft. It's like, yeah, go play this game. This game's really hard. You can improve yourself a lot playing StarCraft. But you have to not be afraid of of getting your ass whooped, because that is what happens to all of us on the ladder. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that this helped you. If you do have any sort of ladder anxiety or anything, just get out there and queue some games and try to have some fun. Thanks for watching.